Alright, welcome to a DangerousBob studio tutorial. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Battle of Southgate in the game Nightgate. Alright, you get the idea. So this was heavily inspired by the early 2000s Lord of the Ring movie tie-in games, where they had some really cool sort of, they had a, Helms Deep, Minas Tirith, you had to defend the wall. So I really wanted to create something like that. So the way I did it, first of all, I had a request on how I got so many NPCs on screen, and didn't really have too many issues with frame rate. You know, I'm running on PC here a 4070 Ti, and I'm getting between 50 and 60 FPS, which isn't like it isn't like anything stellar, but it's definitely playable. So we have around 500 characters here, and what I did was, you'll see I broke these up into groups, right? So what I did was I took a blueprint, and I know there's ways you can do this. People will use particles to do, you know, large armies, but I wanted a little bit more sort of individual control. So the way I did it, at least, is I made blueprints for sort of the front row, mid row, and then distance. Anyways, so what you'll see here is I just have a sort of I took a blueprint, and I just put my NPC walking animations, the skeletons essentially, within this blueprint here, right? And what I did was I layered it. So here you'll see I have the same thing, but the LOD is essentially set to where less detail is being shown. Okay, and the way you can do that, if you go over here to LOD, you can essentially force the LODs that you want, right? So if we just put like 3, you can see the quality drops. We'll put 5, the quality drops even more. And by doing this, we can really just kind of help call some of that performance, and or I should say, call some of the drag on the performance. So, second one I did, and this is something that had a big hit, is if you look here, most of these guys are just sprites. Like, they're literally just sprites in the background. And, they, again, are just blueprints. And you can put... I just went into Photoshop. I took a screenshot, went into Photoshop, and just, cut out a sprite. And you can basically put as many of those guys as you want. And if you look here, it looks like you have a massive army going off into the distance. But what you can see here is a few very simple steps that I took to make this large army that eats up a relatively low amount of resources. I leave the army here just kind of wandering on the edge of the volumetric fog, so that they're always just kind of fuzzed out a little bit. But you can like if you look from the wall here, you can clearly tell there's a large army in the distance. And then what I did was I just have, you can see these spawn points. I just spawned my enemies, and I have points here that they run to, and then there's ladders that are sort of preset under the water here. And these are each just very simple blueprints that trigger climbing animations, and they basically just effectively warp up the ladders and come over the top, and then you can kick the ladders down, etc. It's at that point it's pretty straightforward. So I hope that answers sort of some questions and helps you build your army. Anyways, till next time. Later.